Hello YouTube! I just received these items from the folks at the Curios, and I thought I'd go ahead and talk about them in this video. Alright, well, let's break down what we have here. I always love receiving these surprise packages. And what we have here is the Classmate Carbon Black Super Dark Wood Case Pencils with a free long point sharpener. And we can go and take a look at what it says here in the back. The Classmate is India's #1 notebook brand. We are committed to providing high-quality stationery products that are a result of a deep understanding of our consumers, thoughtful ideation. No, ideation? Never seen that word before. Ideation. Innovative designs and superior craftsmanship that have in turn helped us become one of India's leading stationery brands. Our Classmate range of products include notebooks, writing instruments, pens, ball, gel, and roller, pencils, mechanical and wood cased, mathematical drawing instruments, erasers, sharpeners, and art stationery, wax, crayons, color pencils, sketch pens, and oil pastels. And then we have some other thingies here. It's marketed by the ITC Limited. Comes with 10 pencils of 17.2 centimeters in length, one free long point sharpener, and then I believe that is the price in the Indian, whatever they use for money over there. What is it, rupees or something? I'm not quite sure. And I apologize for not knowing all the currencies. Safe for children, but don't eat it, even though it's non-toxic. There's the free long point sharpener. We'll check that out as well. And there you go. And again, this comes to me from the company called the Curios, which I will provide the details down below in the description as to their Facebook page. And you also see it on the screen here if you haven't already. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these first. We're going to go ahead and open them up. Comes in this wood box. And notice there's some more writing here. I should point these out too while I'm at it. Special treated wood for smooth sharpening. We'll see about that. Super dark 2B lead for dark and neat writing. Alright. Says the same thing on the other side. Okay, this is interesting. It has some kind of a... Whoa. Alright, it has a little tab you pull out, and this tab is what holds this sharpener. So let's take a look at this sharpener here. I think it looks pretty neat. That's really a nice looking sharpener, but we will test it out to see what kind of point it gives us here in a moment. And clearly it doesn't have an open end, so it does stop. It has to stop right there. I always prefer sharpeners that you have to stop. Okay, and now on to the pencils themselves. Alright, here are the pencils, and I'm going to go ahead and let's see, there's 10 in a box. I'm going to take one out. Okay, so they usually come in 10 in a box, whereas a lot of the pencils here in the US are 12. Everybody has their own set numbers. And let's take a look at this. Well, it's a handsome looking pencil. Well, there you go. It has a kind of a burgundy type paint job on it with, what color would we call this? Kind of a, I don't know, is that gold? It's pretty close to gold, I guess. Not as yellow as gold, but you can see the writing, Classmate Carbon Black, matches the color of the tip itself. And as you can automatically see here, of course, or instantly see, I should say, there's no eraser on the end of these. And then there's your core right there, which appears to be centered. Okay, so we're going to sharpen this pencil using this sharpener. Another thing too, I noticed that they're color coded. Look at that. The sharpener is the same color. That's pretty cool. Alright, so that's nice. So let's go ahead and bring some paper over here so I can sharpen on top of it. And we'll go ahead and get to that. Okay, smooth. As you can see, it's just flowing out. So we got some good quality wood here, as well as a nice sharp sharpener. Now I'm going to keep at this until it decides to stop, since it should have its own stop. I assume it will stop. Okay, I'm going to put that back in and see how far that went in there. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you can see it's not going all the way to the end, and I'm curious if it would go to the end. I'm getting the impression that it won't. So I'm going to keep sharpening and see what will happen here. Is it getting any closer? And it's not. Okay, so if I keep on sharpening with this sharpener, it's going to eat the whole pencil. So you do have to stop when it's done, and this is the point that you're going to get. Okay, now according to the box, it says that it's a long point sharpener. Unfortunately, that's not what I would call a long point. It is a decent point. You can see for yourself that it is a very nice point, and we're going to see in a minute how well it writes, but it's not a long point. And to prove that case, I'm going to grab another pencil, okay, and I'm going to use, let's see, here we have the Apsara long point that was also sent to us. Let's see if we get a different point from that. And this one will stop. Okay, I've used this one before and it will stop. Now let's see what the difference is here. Okay, there's very little difference. This one on the right was from the long point sharpener that I just did. So you can see there's a minor, but I mean it's so negligible, who cares? It's, you know, basically it's the same. So am I talking out my ear when I say that other sharpeners actually produce more of a long point? You tell me. See? That's a long point. But anyway, it is a good sharpener, and I don't have any complaints with it. Just what we consider a long point is this one is a long point. But this is a very good point, because you can compare this, for example, to, let me get a pencil sharpener that just does a regular point. And yes, I'm going to sharpen another pencil here, and you can see the difference. I reviewed this pencil sharpener in another video, so I remember the kind of point that you get with this. Okay, so to be fair, if you compare it to a standard pencil sharpener, such as this one here, that I reviewed recently, you can see that this is a regular point, and compared to a regular point, this is a long point. But when you compare this to, say, the Cume sharpener or the Cume long point, single sharpener, or the big triple, or the Helix A5, well then we're talking this kind of point. And now I'm going to put all three together here, and you can see the differences in points. Look at that. Okay, and I didn't even have that yellow one aligned here. Let me get that yellow one aligned. There we go. All right. So there's a regular point, your standard point. There's what the long point is referred to in India right there with that Apsara sharpener, as well as the sharpener that came with the Classmate. They produced the second one right in the middle. And then of course the long point is when you use the Helix or the Cume Masterpiece or the Big Triple or the Cume Long Point sharpeners. You get this more longer point. But anyway, there you go. 3 different points. So I will call this more of a medium point then, to be fair. Okay? It's medium point. And just so that we're sure about that, let me just put it through the A5 here, and then you can see for yourself. Okay, there you go. The A5 is all the way to the right. There you go. And I'll bet anything that, look at this, now I got 4 different lengths. Okay, 4 different lengths. This one here, I believe, came from the Big Triple or the Cume Masterpiece. Either way, let's get right on to the writing part now. Enough about sharpeners, because that's not the highlight of this, but I wanted you to at least see the different points, because this is a thorough review as best as I can. All right, here we go. So how does this Classmate Carbon Black, how does it write? Well, let's find out. First impressions, as usual. This is the Classmate Carbon Black. Okay, this is called a super dark wood cased pencils. Okay. My first impression, that's got good tonal value. Okay. It is a smooth pencil. So yes, it is a good dark pencil, and it's smooth. Let me just get this closer up so you can see it. All right. And of course I'm going to put it to the MB grading test here in a moment. Before I do that, we got these Nataraj 621 Plasto Eraso, erases without a trace. Okay, it's got a lot of weight to this. It's pretty substantial weight. So let's see what we have in here. Okay, it opens right there. So let me see if I can sacrifice the tip of my pencil there. Oh, there we go. And looks like you get a box of, looks like 10 of these erasers. So we'll pull one out. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, there's more than 10. There's more on the bottom. So what we have here is, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. 19. What an odd number. 19. Why not 20 or 18? says it says 20 erasers, but okay. There's 19 in this box, even though, oh wait a minute, sorry, look at this, it's stuck. There we go, my bad. So there are 20 erasers in here. See folks, these videos are real time. I'm not even cutting out the mistakes, okay? There we go. 20 erasers. Alright, let's grab one and I'm going to put the rest of these in here. Boy, these are going to last me. And you know, I'm very, very happy to receive these because I love these white vinyl erasers for my art. You cut them in slivers, very thin slivers, and you can draw, you know, make whiskers and hair and all kinds of things that I like to do. And I go through these vinyl erasers very, very quickly. So this is going to keep me in vinyl erasers for at least a few months. I am happy to say. So thanks to the folks at the Curios for sending these, because I will definitely be using them. Now, let's go ahead and let's erase some things here and see how well it erases. And I'm going to just zoom in here, folks, so that you can really see the damage that I'm going to make with this eraser. Okay. Now you see it. Now you don't. I would say that that eraser does a there's my thumb there. Fantastic job. All right. That just went through it really, really nice. Let me just go through here. There you go, people. Not too shabby, huh? Did a great job. Did a great job of erasing. All right. So these are really good erasers. I like them. Very useful. Look at that. It erases just fine. Love it. Okay, good. So we've now checked out the eraser. We've done the writing test. Now let's do the MB grading on this. And for that, I'm going to come back over here, get rid of that. And we're going to start shading with the carbon black Classmate. Now I'm going to comment here as I'm doing this is that I can feel the pencil really puts the graphite on the drawing paper really nice and even, which I really appreciate for high quality graphite. It's what I would expect. And the tonal quality, I can tell, looks really good, and I don't think we're going to have a problem with this matching up to at least the 2B rating that it has on the box. But it is proving to me to be a very, very nice pencil. See, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and write, this is the Classmate carbon black. Another thing I want to note too is that I just shaded this rectangle here where, you know, I start this way and then I go this way and then diagonally this way and then I go this way until this area is all saturated in. And then I just wrote this, and if you'll notice, I still have a very decent point on the pencil. So that's pretty good. All right, Now, to compare with the MB, let's bring it up. And as you can see, it easily compares to the 2B rating. And if I move to the 3B, it's pretty close to the 3B, though it is slightly lighter, it looks like, and then of course the 4B here. But the only way we're going to know for sure is we're going to use the old light box and make a test strip of it. And then we're going to give that a nice sharp edge. There's our carbon black. And there's our test strip. Okay. And then now that's starting to look a whole lot different. Let's move on up. See, it's amazing what you can see when you have a little bit of light shine on the subject here. Okay, we should be able to... Alright, take a look at that. That's 2B, and that's what they call 2B. And what do you think? With my eyes, that certainly looks darker than that, and I'm not even using magnification, which, look at that, big difference. And just to make sure nothing is faded on me here, I don't want to be accused of not being fair, I'm going to take the 2B from the Mitsubishi here, and I'm going to make sure that that's saturated. And I don't see any changes. I don't see any changes at all. Okay, so that's definitely saturated with the 2B pencil, as you can see right there. So go ahead and put that away because that's not going to change anything. And we can see that it is definitely darker than a 2B. So we go to the 3B. Now the 3B looks darker to me, but I'll leave that to you to judge. If you want to take a look at this here. Okay. It's pretty close. Now the difference here that I see, because I have to look at the black area here, you can see more white going through here than you see through here. So there apparently is finer graphite that's getting into the grooves of the paper, the fiber of the paper, as opposed to the Mitsubishi. But if you look at the darkness of the actual dark areas, the 3B looks darker than here. But if you look here, this has the white in between. This has very light shading in between, and that could be deceptive. And then here we go back to the 2B again, and you can clearly see that that's what really throws this off, is if you look at the dark, you can see that it's very close, but then this has better coverage than this. But the 3 looks darker, and the 4 is definitely darker. So, you know, it's very interesting because I just went over this again, and it's not getting down into the white, into the fibers to cover that white area, and yet the Classmate went in and it filled in the white area of the paper. And this is both, by the way, this is the same paper. Okay, I'm using apples to apples here. So I find this fascinating, and it's very hard to make a really good evaluation as far as the tonal darkness, but I have to give it to the Classmate that it actually produces what appears to be a darker shade than the 2B. So I'm going to have to rate it closer to the 3B in spite of the fact that one filled in because see, there's no white. There's no white here. And yet you see there's white of the paper where we were unable to get the graphite into the grooves. And that, I have not had this problem before, so this is really, really interesting. But I would have to say that it definitely comes across darker than the 2B, just for that main reason. It fills in the fine grooves, which has to have something to do with, you know, the fineness of the graphite in here being able to sprinkle down into this area here, the whites of the paper. If I give it some pressure, you know, obviously I'm going to be able to flatten out the paper fibers and get even darker, which I can do to this also, but I want to do both the same. And this one here was just basically gliding it across. As you can see, it's not changing by not adding pressure, just as the Mitsubishi pencil that I did here, again, just to make sure that it hadn't faded or anything. But there you go. It certainly warrants the 2B rating, but I would have to give it more of a 2B plus. 2B plus. I believe that it deserves that because of what we've just seen here under the magnifying glass. Well, there you go, folks. There's your review of the Classmate Carbon Black Super Dark Wood Case Pencils. It definitely delivers on the Super Dark. As far as rating it a 2B, we've given this a 2B plus because it did come across as darker than just the standard 2B, which is a plus. The lead retention seemed to be pretty good for a 2B. As you can see, when I did all that shading, it really didn't wear the point down that much, which was pretty good. These erasers, I love them. They're great. They do the job. They're smooth when you erase. They seem to erase very well, as you saw. And erasing dark pencils, let me tell you, is not an easy thing to do for erasers. The Apsara Sharpener, it's listed as a long point sharpener, but as you've seen, it's not the longest point, though it is longer than, of course, a standard point, which is boringly short. Anyway, if you like this review, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave your comments below. And in the description, you can find where I got these items from the Curios. And I thank them again for sending it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.